Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new podcast called Understand and Speak English Without Stress. Today, we're going to talk about something very simple but essential: how to learn English easily, without pressure, and most importantly, with pleasure. My name is Sarah. I'm a teacher and a language enthusiast.
And I'm John. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today to chat with you, to learn, and to share with Sarah some real-life situations where English can be useful.
Yes, John, this podcast is like a friendly conversation. We'll talk slowly, ask questions, give examples, tell small stories, and most of all, take time to understand.
Our goal is for you to listen, relax, and say to yourself, English isn't that hard after all. So, grab a warm drink, sit comfortably, and let's begin.
Let's start with a simple question, John. Why English? Why has this language become so important?
That's a great question. I think English has become a global language, a language of communication between people all over the world. It's used in business, technology, science, movies, and music. Even on the internet, most of the content is in English.
Exactly. And it's not only about work. English allows you to understand the world. For example, when you watch a video on YouTube, when you travel, or when you take an online course, you quickly realize that understanding a bit of English opens many doors.
That's true. But many people think it's difficult, that you have to be good at languages. That's not true. What you really need is a simple method, regular practice, and the right mindset.
Absolutely. And that's what we want to show today. Learning English can be calm, pleasant, even fun.
Sarah, you often tell your students, learn to love mistakes. That's a surprising sentence. Can you explain it?
Lol. Yes. Because many learners are afraid to speak English because of mistakes. They say to themselves, "What if I'm wrong? What if people laugh at me?" But actually, making mistakes is the fastest way to learn.
It's like a child learning to walk. They fall, get up, and try again.
Exactly. In English, you have to do the same except to speak imperfectly. Even with a strong accent, even if your grammar isn't perfect. What matters is the message, the communication.
Yes, and native speakers are usually very tolerant. They appreciate when you make the effort to speak their language.
That's right. And the more you speak, the more confident you become, and the better your English gets naturally. Let's get practical. When you start speaking English, there are a few basic phrases you should master. Phrases that are useful in almost every situation.
Yes, like saying hello, introducing yourself, asking how someone is doing, thanking, etc.
For example, hello, good morning, how are you? My name is, nice to meet you. These simple phrases create connection.
And you shouldn't recite them like a robot. You should live them. Say, nice to meet you, with a real smile. Look at the person. Feel the moment.
Yes, English is not just about words, it's also an attitude, a positive and open way to communicate.
And for our students listening, focus on learning the most useful sentences, not complicated grammar rules.
Exactly. The goal is not to recite the past perfect continuous, it's to introduce yourself, order a coffee, or express a simple idea.
So, Sarah, let's talk about the mistakes French speakers often make when learning English.
Ah, that's a funny topic. The first mistake is pronunciation. For example, many say, I have 20 years, instead of, I am 20 years old.
Yes, or I am agree instead of I agree.
Exactly, but it's normal, it comes from translating directly from French. You need to start thinking in English, little by little.
That's true. Another common mistake is trying to speak too fast. It's better to speak slowly, but clearly.
Yes, clarity before speed. And above all, don't judge yourself. Every mistake is a lesson. Let's imagine now that a student is traveling to London for the first time. How could they manage?
Good idea. Let's do a short role play. I'll play the tourist, and you, Sarah, will be the person at the airport.
The goal here is not to understand everything, but to recognize key phrases. For example, where is the check-in counter? Means où est le comptoir d'enregistrement? Can I see your passport? Means puis-je voir votre passeport? These are phrases you often hear when traveling.
Yes, and after the simulation, we can break down each sentence to understand it better. That's active learning. Listen, understand, repeat.
Exactly. And that makes learning more alive, concrete, and useful.
Let's talk about memory. Many students say, I forget everything.
Yes, that's normal. The brain needs repetition, but also pleasure. When you learn with joy, you remember better.
That's why you should learn through movies, songs, YouTube videos, or even podcasts like this one.
Yes, and review regularly. For example, 10 minutes every day are better than 2 hours on Sunday.
I remember one of my former students, Abdu. He couldn't speak a word of English at first, but he listened to simple videos every day. After 6 months, he could hold a real conversation.
Yes, I also had a student named Fatu. She was afraid to speak. So I suggested she talk to herself in the mirror, 5 minutes a day. Now she participates in meetings in English at her company.
That's the message. Anyone can do it. You don't need to be perfect. What matters is to start. You know, we often forget that emotions play a huge role in our ability to learn. If you're stressed, tired, or think you can't do it, your brain simply shuts down.
That's true. English is also a language of confidence. If you speak with fear, your accent gets tighter, your voice closes up. But if you open up, even with mistakes, communication flows better.
Exactly. I always tell my students, English is not a language to recite, it's a language to live. You must dare to make mistakes, laugh at them, and try again.
Yes, and sometimes just listening to a song and feeling it can do more than 10 pages of grammar. When an emotion sticks to a word, you never forget it.
So true. Emotions are like glue for memory. So, learn with joy, curiosity, not fear.
Many people say, I can't learn English because I've never traveled. But today, you can live English without leaving your home.
Yes. Watching a series in the original version, listening to podcasts, reading articles online, these are real immersions. You can even change your phone's language settings.
That's right. Even following English-speaking YouTubers who talk about topics you love helps a lot. For example, if you like cooking, watch recipe videos in English.
And write down the words you hear often. You don't need to understand everything. What matters is recognizing and repeating without pressure.
That's what I call soft immersion. You don't need to go to London or New York. English can become part of your everyday life, step by step.
Motivation, that's the big challenge. We start full of energy, and after 2 weeks, we quit. Why do you think that happens?
Because people set goals that are too big and forget to celebrate small victories.
Exactly. You must celebrate each little progress. If today you understand one sentence you didn't yesterday, that's already a win.
And you must create routines. 10 minutes a day are better than 1 hour a week.
Yes, and you must learn with pleasure, not obligation. Watch a funny video, sing a song, do a role play. English should be an adventure, not a chore.
I like to say, don't look for perfection, look for progression.
Beautiful. That's the key to all learning.
Well, our hour is almost over. Thank you all for listening. We hope this calm, simple, and sincere conversation inspired you to keep learning.
Yes, and remember, every word you learn is a victory. Keep listening, repeating, and speaking even alone.
And above all, enjoy learning. English is not a wall, it's a door to the world.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, dear students. We'll see you very soon for another episode.
See you next time, and until then, keep practicing.